Guys, I was on Tiny Home Tours. This is a channel with over 1 million subscribers, and they go around interviewing and touring people who live on the road and show what their rigs look like school buses and vans and RVs. Everything that someone's lived in, they've probably interviewed them about it, and they actually asked me to be on their channel, and we met up and we filmed this video. This has been in the works for like over 6 months now. So yeah, let's watch the video. This is my favorite part of the van. This is my deck. I tend to eat a lot of shelf-stable things because I don't typically keep a fridge or a cooler with me. I used a lot of recycled materials to keep costs low. Everything that you see in the van actually only cost me under $500. This is exactly what works for me, and I love this van. I'm Elyse1. This is my van. Let's go check it out. The very beginning of it, first I just want to talk about the location because guys, look at that beautiful, beautiful tree in the background. One of my favorite things about the van is the deck. So it was really cool that I got to like go up there and then have like this beautiful tree in the background. So welcome to the inside of the van. This is kind of everything I have going here. I have the bedroom. This is the bedroom and everything else. So the first thing that he told me is that they normally go in order of like the kitchen, the living room, and the bedroom. And I remember that we were trying to figure out the flow of the video. Like obviously the editor is gonna go through and make it make better sense, but I just remember him being like, okay, so where's the kitchen? And I was like, well, this is actually kind of everything. So under here I have 2 pieces of plywood, and this small one I will use when I'm just sleeping by myself, but if I have a friend joining with me, I will put out both of these. And the way that I support this is actually with my countertop. So this countertop has handles, it will come out, I will put it on the floor, and that is what will support the extra bed extension. If you're a subscriber, you know that getting my bed out actually like isn't the easiest thing in the world, and I have said that so many times. Like, it's not the smartest design. I don't know, it was like the first thing that came to my head. I just wanted to like build it, and I wanted to build it for cheap. I was a little bit nervous about like showing how I get the bed out and having it look really clumsy on camera, because it is clumsy in real life, and they actually made it look super smooth and easy to do, which I appreciate. But yeah, in reality, I kind of like rest the mattress up on my head, like on my literal head. Yeah, it was just funny because in that clip when they were filming it, I tried not to put it on my head, and my arms were like shaking, like I was like trying to pull it out, and I was trying to be like, it's so easy. Got my mattress from IKEA, and it is a children's extendable mattress, which means that the bulk of it is right what I'm sitting on, but then it also comes with these 2 smaller panels that you add on as your kid grows. So here I'm talking a little bit about my IKEA mattress, and my IKEA mattress I'm like so proud of. I didn't have to like sew or custom order any cushions or anything like that. I think it's such a hack. I love sharing that, so that was kind of fun to talk about. And I really debated bringing both of the cushions on my trip because like in theory, if you were taller, you would probably want both cushions. But I'm really short, and like, yes, I went on this road trip for this tour, but I also like was still gonna be on the road trip, and then I would have had 2 of these, and that would have been annoying. So yeah, I only brought 1, but I do have 2. I have another one in my parents' basement. Keep most of my storage. I definitely have to be very selective about what I bring because there's not a ton of storage under here, and I keep pretty much everything under here. I have like jumper cables, first aid kit, like all the things that you need, but then also all my fun items like my camera equipment, my drone. So right after I filmed this, I was feeling really, really good about it, and a couple days later, I remembered that I wanted to talk about this, and I completely forgot. And, you know, obviously it's a short video and there's not too much to it, but because the van is so small, even forgetting one thing, I was like, oh, come on. So I have a compartment like underneath my bed that isn't the drawers that I showed, and that's kind of where I keep those jumper cables and things I was talking about that I don't need that often. And if I didn't have that compartment, there's no way that I could even travel in this thing. It's where I put so much extra stuff. Like I can fit like books in there, I can fit roller skates, my snorkel stuff, I keep like extra towels down, like things that I don't use that often, I keep in this little compartment. And yeah, I probably should have talked about that. Oh well. Transit Connects come with like a small little overhead space, but I ended up building this to kind of extend it out, and this is where I keep all of my clothes. I can't bring anything else. I have to really pare down, and everything fits in here pretty comfortably. And so this upper cabinet thing is actually brand new. I made this right before I left for this tour. I slowly add to my van, so I made the bed part in like one day. It's like the main part. But then I would go out on a road trip, and then I would come back, and then I would add the tables, or I would come back and then I would add, you know, new curtains, or I'd come back and I added that thing. So yeah, there was never a moment where I was like, I'm gonna buy this van, I'm going to commit the next couple months to building it out. Like, no, I just worked on it as I had time and I had money, and how I'm like, it was just fun, you know. But anyway, I love my little upper cabinet thing. I think it turned out super cool, and I didn't mention, but I should have, that it was made out of recycled materials from this like trellis thing that my dad had in his front yard. So that would have been cool to mention. So after college, I knew that I wanted to go on a big cross-country road trip, and at the time I didn't really have a car, so I ended up borrowing my dad's Ford Escape, and I lived out of that Ford Escape for 4 months. And from that experience, I learned that I loved life on the road, and I knew that I could do it with just an SUV. At the time, I was on a very strict budget. I knew that I only had a limited amount of money to spend. Seeing like this really beautiful B-roll makes me so happy because, you know, I do my best to film in the van, and one of the things that I usually struggle with is lighting, just because I'm constantly in like a new environment, and also the sun changes every day. Like, my background can look completely different depending on like what time of day it is, where the sun is. So seeing it like just look so polished and like bright and crispy, oh my god. And then my only complaint for the video was that there are so many freaking cars in the background. I will just say that while I was in Florida, I was actually really struggling to find like off-grid campsites like I can out west. Out west, you can go and you can find so many great spots just in the middle of nowhere, like super beautiful out in the desert. And in Florida, everything is a freaking like parking lot or a Cracker Barrel or a rest area. Like, I was staying in a parking lot almost every single night of the trip, and that was just because like Florida isn't as easy to find the good spots. So I really loved this location, but as we got farther along in the video, more people started showing up because it was like right at a trailhead. So yeah, there's a lot of cars in the background, which kind of sucks, but it's probably only me noticing that. That it was the most van I could get for the least amount of money with the least amount of miles as well. The bugs in the windshield. The miles on it, and everything that you see in the van actually only cost me under $500, like $480 something. And that is mostly because A, it's so small, and B, I used a ton of recycled materials, 2x4s, plywood, a lot of paint, and I think it turned out pretty good. Something about me having to say like, yep, I am on this channel right now and this only cost me $500. Oh my god, like, it's kind of insane, you know? And one of my favorite parts about my van is that I used a lot of recycled materials to keep costs low. And this is actually my childhood dresser, and I completely deconstructed it so that I could use the 4 drawers. And then this counter is made from it, and then also these 2 side tables. That's really nice because they all match, and again, I saved some money there. So yeah, that is one of my favorite things about the van, is that I used a lot of recycled things, like just stuff that I had lying around. Almost all of this wood was taken from somewhere else. So yeah, that's another reason why I was able to keep the costs down. So all of my food is in this drawer, and then all of my kitchen utensils are in this one. And I have these 2 side tables here that will come out. And these are super high tech, so I just use dowels. It was funny because I feel like their channel is very serious. Like, not serious, but it's like it has a formula. Like, you kind of have like an interview, and then they take you around, and it cuts back to the interview and back and forth. And it's super like easy to watch, very like good setup for this type of thing. But I feel like because my van is pretty low tech, I lean into humor a lot. So like when I'm folding up the tables, you can kind of hear me saying like, ha ha ha, these are so high tech, like leaning into the fact that I know that it's not anything super fancy schmancy. So I'm kind of glad that I was able to bring that across a little bit, that, you know, it's just fun. Like, van life should be fun, and this is my version of van life. And, you know, if you're here to check out some of their more fancy videos, like, go ahead, enjoy those. But yeah, that's not what my channel is about. Like, my channel is like it's all over the place, and I love it, and it's very real, and that's, you know, what I try to go for. So I'm glad that came across. I think it did. These up like this, or these are magnetic and they will just come off, so you're safe. I tend to eat a lot of shelf-stable things because I don't typically keep a fridge or a cooler with me. And I have experimented with using a fridge before, but a lot of times I find that it's just not worth the trouble. And I really don't have enough electricity to be able to power a fridge 24/7. So I love to cook outside, but the one drawback is that when it's raining, I can't really do that. So this is not enclosed, but it's really nice when the weather's great. So I think one person in the comments called me like ramen girl, which is so funny because it's like, okay, I said that I eat a lot of shelf-stable foods, which I 100% do, but like I could still go into like the grocery store and like pick up food. Like, I don't know, I just think that's funny. Also, if I have to eat only ramen or like very cheap food to be able to afford living out of my van and doing all this super cool stuff and like following and pursuing my dreams, I'm gonna eat that ramen, okay? Also, I have heard of a cooler before. I am familiar with the technology. I also have a fridge, but again, I was going down to Florida and I just knew that it was gonna be so hot and I was gonna be within 10 miles of a gas station every single place I went. So yeah, it just isn't always worth it to like deal with that. I don't know. For real though, the outside setup of cooking with the van, like when I have a full spread, like I make pancakes out there, I've done like spaghetti nights, things like that. It's so fun to have it all laid out like under the stars. I love cooking in the van. And then some of you guys had some comments about how I should get an awning, possibly for the back, so that if it's raining I can still cook outside. I think that's actually a really, really good idea. So advice for anyone that I would have that wants to start van life would be to just start. Even if you have to start super small, like I did, you really don't need much to get in the car and just have a great time. Throw a mattress in the back, some pillows in the back of whatever car you have, borrow friends, and just go out and explore. And then you can add as you see fit, as your budget allows, as you figure out what you actually need. Like, I know that I would never use a shower. I would never need. I love the way I said that. I know I would never use a shower. I do take showers, I promise. I just remember like growing up, we had a camper and we weren't allowed to ever go number 2 in the toilet, and we were never allowed to take a shower in there because it was more trouble than it's worth. And maybe some of you guys can relate to that. Like, if I had a van with a shower, but I could choose to go to a Planet Fitness, like I'm gonna choose the Planet Fitness every time, because refilling water, that's all such a pain. And I know that when I get a bigger rig one day with a shower and with a toilet and with gas and heat and all that stuff, I'm gonna look back and I'm gonna be like, I remember when I had just like that really fun small rig. I could just take it wherever and it was so easy. Just the same way that right now I'm thinking, oh, I can't wait till the day I have like a bigger bed, you know? So obviously this isn't a forever home. Like, guys, come on, I know that. So yeah, I think just, you know, like living in the present and knowing that like this is what I have now and I love it for its own reasons, but it's not permanent, you know? I do shower more than what I already have. So I didn't waste any money building out something that I wasn't going to use. This is exactly what works for me, and I love this van. So this is where I keep my electricity, and I just use an external rechargeable battery. Right now I'm playing around with this ginormous one, but honestly this is kind of overkill for me, and I normally use my Jackery 300. Okay, and I mentioned this in the video, but I don't know why I did this. So I do not use that battery. I only take that battery with me when I'm doing winter camping, when I'm freezing cold and I need to charge my heating pads, which I have showed in videos in the past. So I don't know why I brought that that battery to Florida. I normally use this one. I normally use this one, and the reason why I use this one is because it is so much lighter and I can sneak it into coffee shops and like plug it in. Even though I don't have a lot of space down here, the spaces up here. This is my favorite part of the van. This is my deck, and I don't have a ladder, so this is kind of how I get up there, but I, 1 foot here, the other foot here, climb up, and you're good to go. The deck is where I hang out. I read up there. Again, on my channel, I really like to lean into the humor of like, ha ha ha, I don't have a ladder, so I have to like pull myself up on the deck. And so trying to make that look like, oh yeah, it's so easy, I just hop up there. It was so funny. They didn't show how I got down. I will say that. They cut that out, and that is probably for a good reason. Because getting up doesn't look that bad. Like, I thought it looked pretty good in the video, but getting down is a completely different story because I have to kind of like slide down the front. So yeah. And everyone always tells me I need a ladder. I don't need a ladder, people. It's just funny because like I'm an influencer, but people are trying to influence me to buy every freaking thing that could possibly go on this van. Guys, you don't need every single thing. You don't need it. If you need a ladder and you want a ladder, go ahead and get one. But like, I have no problem like just having fun and yeeting myself up there. Right now, I kind of go on these 3 to 4 month long road trips where I get a seasonal job and then I come back home and then I leave again. Aside from doing seasonal work, I'm also a YouTuber, so I post weekly videos over on my channel and I show the very raw and realistic van. Okay, so this part makes me laugh so much because I recently made a video where I kind of wanted to combine all of my videos for 2023 into like one big video. And in the beginning, I wanted to kind of start with something funny. And there was this moment where I'm like twerking in the middle of Death Valley. So it's like desolate and then I'm twerking. And I can't believe that's what they put in. Like, what the heck? So I'm like literally twerking on tiny home tours, or trying to twerk. It's very fun. This is a lot more messy usually, and it's just a really great time over there. So thank you so much for checking out my van. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to check me out on YouTube and all the other socials. And I wanted to say that when I first built this out, I still had a full-time job, and I was planning on only using this for like weekend camping trips. So that's why the design is pretty basic, because I thought it was gonna be different. I didn't know I was gonna be living out of it for like 3 or 4 months at a time. So if I were to do it again at this point, like I would have done everything different. But I think it's still a really good example of like how you can still live a van life or a van weekend situation and do it for pretty cheap, and like it's still really cute. And I have to admit that when Tiny Home Tours first reached out to me, I was feeling a little bit of like imposter syndrome, because I was like, wait a minute, like my van isn't cool enough to be on this channel. But then I had to remember that like it's not just about like the van, it's also about like the story and the person. And I also think it's really important to see people still like living out their dreams even though they don't have a lot of money to do it. Like I do everything that I want to do. If I want to go there, I'm going to go there. Will I be sleeping on an IKEA toddler mattress on the way? Yes. Is that cool and interesting? I don't know, you tell me. I think it is, because it's refreshing, I think. Okay, I just want to pause the video for a quick sec to talk about today's sponsor, which is me, Elyse1. I just want to talk about the group trip that I have coming up. So I am taking a group to Ecuador this New Year's. I'm working with a company called Trip, and I've actually traveled with them before as a traveler when I went to Cambodia with Hannah Lee Duggan. I made a couple videos about that if you want to check it out. It was an absolutely incredible experience. I met some of my best friends on that trip. Normally I do a lot of solo travel, so this is definitely a different experience for me, but like having a guide and doing it with strangers on the internet, like I've done it before, and I can tell you that it is really scary at first but absolutely incredible. It was one of the best things that I ever did. So when Trip reached out to me and wanted to know if I would host a trip, oh my gosh, like actual dream come true. I am so excited for this. So far we have 10 people coming along, so it's definitely happening at this point. And some of the people I have traveled with before, so I can guarantee there's going to be cool people on this trip. You will definitely walk away with some best friends, and it's kind of one of those things that you just got to do. Like, just do it. Oh my God. So the trip is 8 days, and it is going to be starting in the capital of Ecuador, and then we're going to move around. We're going to go mountain biking down volcanoes. We're going to go rafting through the jungle. We're going to go to the cities. We're going to take a cooking class. We're going to learn about the culture. We're going to meet people who live in the Amazon rainforest. I think what I'm most excited for is this swing where you get to like swing off of a cliff. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much fun. It's a great way to meet people, and I would love to meet you guys. Like, this is absolutely one of my bucket list things. When I wanted to start a YouTube channel, I was like, I wanna do group trips. I wanna meet people that I've connected with online within my community. So like, this is gonna be amazing. So if you wanna come, check out the link in the description, and I would love, love, love to see you there. Okay, back to the video. But one thing I thought we could do as well, I haven't looked at the comments since I watched it last week. I have been kind of avoiding this video a little bit just because it's not my audience. Like, my audience is super nice and supportive most of the time. So opening myself up to a completely new audience with people who see a lot of really cool vans makes me a little nervous. So let's just look at them. So most of them are actually really nice, which is good. Some of my really big fans went over and kind of like shouted out my channel, which I really appreciate. They were like, go on over to her channel, which was so sweet. Oh, hello. They're so nice. It's actually crazy. Somebody said Erin is my favorite content creator. That's so sweet. I'm scrolling through here. I'm like legitimately not even seeing a mean comment. I thought there was like one or two last time I checked, but oh yeah, someone is being mean about my diet. Cute van, but a diet with no fresh fruits and vegetables isn't good for anyone. Don't tell me what to eat. Yeah. So there's only 2 comments that weren't very nice, but that's pretty good, I would say. And again, they're missing the point, and that's what I responded with. I was like, you're missing the point if you don't understand. I can't really help you. Like, there are other ways to do van life, and there's other ways to see the US and to travel and to go on fun adventures, you know? There's other ways to do it, and I think people who are broke should be able to travel too. We should all be able to travel. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this like react video. I watch a lot of YouTubers do react videos, so it's kind of fun to be able to do this. And I really enjoyed working with Tiny Home Tours. I would love to work with them again if I ever upgrade and show you, I don't know, a new rig in the future. Let me know if you have any other questions about the behind the scenes, and thank you so much to everyone who went over there and checked it out, and welcome to all of the new people. Hopefully you stick around. I got some really cool stuff planned this summer, so yeah. Okay, all right, bye.